Okay, everybody, I've got this finally working. 5:57 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, April 27th, 2014. Just started up the live stream. I hope you guys can share this out. We've got a very severe weather situation breaking on southwest Missouri, right over Joplin, Missouri. And I'm going to back this out and show you the tornado warning areas. Now, we're looking at Intellicast here. After we look at Intellicast, we will jump over and take a look at the Weather Channel and the live weather feeds page that we've put together. This, however, shows it. You can see the key up here. So tornadic, high winds, hail, strong, damaging cells, thunderstorms, and we have multiple tornado warnings directly over Carthage, Missouri, south to Joplin, directly over the area, damaging winds. The National Weather Service has issued multiple tornado warnings. These are not just watches. The dark red indicates warnings. So I'll just go ahead and click on this, and they've got generalized. A tornado warning remains in effect for western Jasper and southeastern Cherokee counties until 6:15 p.m. Central Time, and that extends south. We also have severe thunderstorm warnings, which indicate large damaging hail. Again, damaging winds detected here. Let's go ahead and get this. Newton and northwestern McDonald counties until 6:15 p.m. And we also have tornado watches throughout the entire Midwest. So we're looking at Nebraska, even extending north into Iowa, south through Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, North Louisiana, and now reaching eastward into Mississippi. And this has been expected. They've been talking about this for several days. This is the exact overlay area of the Harpering outbreak that happened 2.5 days ago, and then again 24 hours ago. Now the computer just refreshed. I'm going to take you over to Weather Channel next. People seem to trust Weather Channel just a little bit more, even though it's the exact same system. Intellicast was purchased by the Weather Channel companies last year, and you'll notice something here that Weather Channel adopted the Intellicast severe weather system, if you will. And it looks like they may be experiencing a little bit of site overload on weather.com. Look, it's only giving you the low graphic version. They're not able to support the bandwidth on this. Wow, let's go ahead and try and refresh it again. Okay, getting the hanging hourglass. This isn't a problem at my end, guys. This would be a server issue at their end. Okay, here we go. So it loads up. Let's go ahead and turn on their storm tracking system first. All right, and we see multiple tornadoes detected. This is, again, their version of Titan storm tracking, which the radar identifies the different densities of the precipitation in the storms, and it's able to determine whether or not it's hail, whether or not there's heavy winds. They can measure velocity, wind, off of radar as well, and that's how they're able to determine whether or not damaging winds are existing towards the surface. So we can move our mouse over these, and I've put links down below. I don't know if you guys can see them, but you can go to weather.com and they'll have the interactive map here. We have a strength, you can see here in the key, a strength of 11, and that's out of a possible 15. So it goes down to 8, low end for a tornado, upwards of 15. This is on their Titan storm tracking system. And it's moving east by northeast. This is coming out of Arkansas. Now the damaging winds are directly over Neosho, also extending north through Jasper and south through Joplin. And let's move our mouse over this and see what it says. Okay, we're right below tornadic strength. So if this strength here goes to 8, the Titan storm system will detect that as a tornado. So once the strength goes up, it goes from beyond damaging winds to a possible tornado. And so you move your mouse to the north, and I hope you guys are doing this along with me, possibly. This other tornado right at the border, literally along the border, let's zoom in here a little bit, directly along the border of Kansas and Missouri, heading due north towards, it looks like, just east of downtown Kansas City. And that'll be arriving in the next, let's say, hour. We can go ahead and animate this up a little bit. To get a better animation, let's go over to the 2KM view on College of DuPage. And we'll go ahead and look at the Kansas feed. Now this is, of course, the visibles. So you can see the large low pressure system. Got a bunch of snow up here over Wyoming. That was last night. And again, hail, large hail, and damaging winds. Now this is a dust storm. being kicked up out here. You can see that this is surface level, and when I animate this, we'll go ahead and animate this up. Okay. Right? You can see that this is literally getting sucked up off the ground. You can see the eye wall, if you will. Let's go ahead and zoom in. And what this means is that we can actually expect more heavy precipitation along the eastern seaboard. This will turn into cloud condensation nuclei. It's proved that when dust gets kicked up into the upper atmosphere during a large storm, that dust itself aids in the perpetuation of the storm, and water droplets form and condense around that dust, just like it would for cloud seeding when they spray something. Naturally, it happens with dust, and that's coming off of Kansas, Texas, Oklahoma, getting sucked up to the north. So that's going to turn into heavy precip over the next 24 hours. Now we're going to back this out and look at the radar. Okay, and again, this shows the general direction and the speed at which this is occurring. So you can see the timestamps down here below. Every 5 minutes it's refreshing. So we're talking about moving about 50 to 60 miles an hour to the north. So we're looking at less than an hour that possible tornado could be coming right up here just east of Kansas City. Now, ironically, Pleasant Hill, right here, this is the area where the NEXRAD radar is. So it looks like the tornado is going to be coming directly over that NEXRAD. So it's taking a north by northeast track. You can see the angle at which the storm is projected to move. It's at a strength of 12, and it's moving at 51 knots. So it's moving very fast, very strong cell breaking through there. Now, also, here's the live weather feeds page, and you guys, if you want to jump over to my website, just click on the streaming radar, and we're going to get multiple feeds coming from multiple agencies and private companies like AccuWeather, and we'll see just different intensities. Now, what happened last year when the Weather Channel purchased IntelliCast, they altered the feed color code to make storms less intense. Now, that also eliminated a lot of heart rings that we would see, because they would show up in the low green, if you will, on IntelliCast, let's say. When they upped it, that removed all the, well, background imagery, if you will. And that really caused a problem for us to be able to see this. But luckily, or unluckily, they have started to amp that up, amplify that, so it's even punching through the quality control that they initiated last year. You're still able to see this. And we reported on this 2 days ago again when that massive outbreak occurred from Texas up through Iowa and southeast through Georgia. Again, that was 2 days ago, well documented. Thousands of people saw that on my Facebook page. Let's go back over to the live weather feeds. And again, tornado warning and watch areas are different. The watch, of course, is keep an eye out for it. There's no actual tornado there yet. However, the warning means that there's either rotation or some kind of tornado spotted by a professional spotter. So these areas, these dark red areas, indicate actual tornadoes, tornado warnings. So they're issuing warnings, the sirens are going off in the area, if there are sirens, and people should be taking cover in these areas. And again, unfortunately, look how long this is lingering over. This is current. How long this is lingering over Joplin. Now we've got 1, 2, 3 separate tornado warnings in the area. Springfield, Missouri is here, and I'm located in St. Louis, Missouri, just to the northeast of all of this. So we're going to be getting some fairly heavy weather as well. I'm right here in South St. Louis, and this is heading north by northeast up through the western part of the state. People in Kansas City, west of Kansas City, let's say you live in like Blue Springs. This is, you guys don't know this if you don't live in Missouri, but outside of Kansas City is where all the rich people live, okay? And there's massive, huge houses out there going out west of Kansas City, right out to Independence. And so they need to watch out, because this is going to be coming right over the NEXRAD and up in your direction. Now, let's hope that that calms down, let's say, over the next hour, but I don't see it calming down. I really don't, because of the massive rotation of this system. Now, to see the massive rotation, okay, you can see it on College of DuPage here. Let me jump over to the Google Plus Hangout. We got 100 people in here? Okay, cool. This massive rotation here, this is a low-pressure system. It's not a land hurricane, as some people are calling it. People are saying day after tomorrow, which was on just 2 weeks ago, by the way, on A&E or one of those channels. I recorded it, watched it, And the only thing in that movie that hasn't happened is that big wave. Everything else has kind of actually happened. But I digress. So here's the system. Okay, it's got the typical comma shape, and that's the rotation of the low pressure system, and is always counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere. And it sucks up from the south moisture. So we're going to look at the infrared. This will show us water vapor. This will show us the infrared view, taking out all of the excess garbage that you would see with visual. Now let's go ahead and turn on color enhancement. This will tell us the cloud temperatures, and that indicates cloud height. So temperatures of these clouds here are going very cold. They're going very high. You can imagine large thunderstorms, huge, massive cumulonimbus clouds erupting off of the front end of this as it's pulling up that moisture from the south. And behind it, all the snow, right? So we had a bunch of snow in Wyoming, Nebraska, Idaho, Montana, and even going north up into Canada. Now, look at the track that it took. Pulled all the way south through Arizona, New Mexico, and North Texas. When it did that, it snowed all around Los Angeles and down to San Diego. And that was winter storm warnings issued by the National Weather Service. Also, winter storm warnings issued in New Mexico and Arizona. And that was for areas around 4,000 to 5,000 feet, right? Normally dry, brown mountains, getting a little bit of snow in April, end of April. So let's go ahead and turn a different view on here. Okay, this is the vibrant view, as they call it. And again, you can see the rotation of the system coming back up to the northeast now. As that happens, it's slowing down. And when it slows down, you saw the dust storm that I showed you at the start of this. Let's go ahead and look again here. We'll go back into the 2KM view. And again, this is live, so we're looking at the most current feed as of 22:55 universal. And we'll go ahead and turn on visible for the last 48 images. And you can watch the suction that's occurring here. Again, you can imagine it. It's a giant rotating system. It's got a lot of pull, and it's pushing it upwards. As it pushes up, it's pulling to the northeast and causing this severe weather outbreak. And look at that right over. Look at the tail on this. You know, if you're into meteorology, guys, you know about those long beaver tail-shaped clouds that form on the back of a large thunderhead. Look at that, going at least 50, maybe 75 miles off the back end of that thunderstorm. And I bet that's very impressive to see. If you were back over here, let's say in Tulsa, and you're looking to the northeast, you're going to probably be seeing some really impressive clouds. Unfortunately, those are carrying with them tornadoes right over Joplin again. It's just terrible to see this. Let's go ahead and turn on radar. You know, this time, 2011, there was nobody doing this. Live stream on Google+, what? Being able to cover tornadoes real time for everybody to see? This is unheard of, so this is great. And once this video is done, or once this live stream is done, it'll go right up on my YouTube channel, so you guys can watch it again or share it with friends. Let them know it's important to be prepared. Okay, now they forecast this for 2 days, but how many people actually are watching TV? It's, you know, springtime. You've got people on spring break. You've got a lot of people that are traveling. A lot of people take their chances when they're out trying to drive around in it, thinking it might not be as bad as they said it was going to be. But look at each individual cell here. Okay, now again, this is College of DuPage. We're zooming in. We're at 2KM, so we can get a better view on this. But you can see each white center, okay, that erupts here. The white center indicates possible hail, maybe even debris kicked up, but for sure possibly hail in each one of these cells. So you can imagine some of the larger detections here are massive hailstones falling out of the sky. That's just one of the lesser effects of these storms. Again, let's go back over to weather, and let's go ahead and hit refresh on this, make sure we got the most current feeds. Again, bear with me. We're playing with their bandwidth, not mine. All right, and we'll go ahead and turn on the National Weather Service alerts first before we check Titan storm tracking. Yeah, okay, they still have these warnings issued, and it looks like now there's 4. All right, there are now 4 tornado warnings issued. I'm sorry, 5, and if you count the 2 up here to the top, 7 tornado warnings issued right now over southwest Missouri, over Joplin. This was Springfield here, Joplin where my mouse is. Let me zoom in and see if we can get a town name on this so you guys can make this out even. And let's turn these off just so you guys can see what we're talking about. Okay, here's Joplin. Here's the strong cell. Here's the center of the cell. And again, remember what I told you about them lowering the feed. This was done last year. So really, this should be a white center, if you will. So there should be hail at the center of this. It's indicating strong or a mix. So take it for what you will on their feed, but it's going right over Joplin, heading up towards Sarcoxie, and it's going to graze off the western side of Mount Vernon. It's then going to pull. Let's go ahead and animate this up here. This is pretty important here since we're looking at 7 separate tornado warnings at once. Okay, and again, each one of these is a 5-minute segment, and so you can see how far the movement happens in 5 minutes. That lets you know you can triangulate a time for where it could arrive somewhere else. So let's just say it's moving about 20 miles every 5 minutes. So that's going right up towards, that's going to take us right across, oh boy, spring break central right now, where everybody's vacationing in Missouri at least, in it looks like Lake of the Ozarks, maybe even go towards the western portion of Jefferson City, the state capital. Let's go ahead and look south. Luckily, remember that beaver tail I was telling you about coming off the back end of that storm? It looks like itself is starting to develop into another line or another strong cell back here to the back. Let's go ahead and turn on Storm Track again. And again, this is what the computer is detecting in each individual cell. And it identifies, using radar, it is able to identify hail, damaging winds, and luckily with that new dual pole radar, they're able to identify vertical integrated liquid and tell us exactly what's in the center of those storms. Most people don't know this, that Titan Storm Tracking itself was developed by UCAR to monitor cloud seeding activities. Did you guys know that? Go look it up. Titan Storm Tracking developed to monitor weather modification. Yes. So that's just a weird fact that most meteorologists don't know. Guys, this is getting pretty severe. I'm going to go ahead and pause it up here just for 1 second. I've got a cat in heat that definitely needs to be fed at this point. I'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and hit, I guess, paste on this, and we'll see if this works, okay? Okay, guys, sorry about that. Cat in heat, she just became a little woman. So we've got major severe weather breaking out. I'm going to jump back over to IntelliCast now. And this is important to jump between systems. Of course, you know, each system refreshes every 5 minutes or so. However, really good idea to check between the multiple systems because sometimes one system shows you something that the other system does not. Let's go ahead and check the live stream here. Hold on 1 second, I'm muted up here. Okay, that's good news. It's functioning. Again, you guys on my site here, you can also check the About section. That'll take you over to my website where I've got the live streaming radar page that I'm referencing here. It's got all the links, so you guys can follow along if you want to. There's 165 people in the live stream right now. Again, once I'm done with this, this will upload. So I'm trying to keep this as brief as possible so that we can get it out and share it. But we've got a lot going on right now. It's better just to cover it live, get the video out afterwards to show people why it's so important to be prepared. This stuff can come down on you in a moment's notice. Now, everybody knew that there was going to be severe weather this weekend. However, if you were to guess at an area to be hit, if you were to guess Joplin, Missouri, again, to be creamed with now what looks like to be 7 possible separate tornado warnings issued at once by the National Weather Service, that to me says we've got a serious situation breaking out here in the Midwest, and you need to be prepared further east by northeast. Now they've updated the tornado warnings. That's good. Looks like we've got 3 separate areas now. They've removed 4 of those. So I guess one was expiring, the other was overlapping. However, look at how far it's moved. We're talking a very short distance. This pretty much indicates some kind of tornado, most likely on the ground, because when it slows down and we start to see the tornado warnings not go as fast, the cell is actually making contact with the ground, and we're seeing an actual tornado event occur. The National Weather Service does not issue tornado warnings lightly. They normally only issue when there's actual rotation detected or a storm spotter actually sees a tornado in rotation. We also have a new tornado warning now issued over North Mississippi, just south of Memphis. Now let's go ahead and zoom this in a little bit and see if we can get any details on this. This is inside of the tornado warning area across Mississippi extending east into Alabama. And that's in effect for the next 30 minutes, so that's probably another actual tornado on the ground or rotation developed. And that is Panola County. I don't know where that is, never been there, but if you live in the region or you know someone who lives in the region, let them know to be prepared. Let's take a look at the actual track on this storm. We'll turn those off and we'll animate up the radar. We'll see which way this is going. If this is heading towards downtown Memphis, then we might want to consider getting the word out to the people of Tennessee right now that there's at least strong cell, well, let's make sure about this. Yes, for sure, strong cell thunderstorms, damaging winds, and let's get this. Yeah, hail detected for sure. Let's get the information from weather.com. They'll give us the actual speed knots-wise. And again, we got to wait for this to load. I'm sure there's a lot of people on their server today. Okay, we'll turn the storm tracks on again. If you guys want to follow along, the links are on my site on the streaming live radar page. You can just scroll down to private companies and you can follow along. Okay, so the track on this is moving at about 17 knots, and it looks like it's going to be coming right over downtown Memphis. Now that is a tornado warning area as well. We're going to definitely need to take cover. Now there's 2 tornado warnings issued. Let's get some more information on this. There's the 6:45 warning, and it looks like no information on the new warning issued. It just says tornado warning. So that will be updating as the information becomes available. That's coming down pretty much right southwest of Memphis, Tennessee. It will be grazing the eastern suburbs. So now we've got 2 metropolitan areas. Kansas City, just southwest of you, heading east by northeast, most likely Kansas City east towards Overland Park, be heading right over that next rad. And then south, we've got the 2 tornado warnings still issued over Joplin and Neosho, heading again east by northeast. And all the yellow spots you see here are severe thunderstorm warnings. Those carry with them damaging winds and hail. Again, not as much of a worry, but it could definitely cause property damage. If you've got animals outside, it's something you need to be concerned about. Maybe take them in if you're living anywhere in the east by northeast direction that this storm is taking. We're going to go back over to College of DuPage, and we'll click on regional products this time. Then we're going to look at the entire region. And this is going to let you know overall which way it's going. So if you live in one of the states that are downwind from this, you definitely need to prepare now, because you can see the intensity of the storm and you can see all the dust that's getting sucked up into this now extending all the way down, since I started doing this broadcast, all the way down here to, looks like, New Mexico border. So that's a lot of dust to be sucked up off the farm fields that are probably freshly plowed from, well, the need to plant after this tremendous cold that's been going on. And let's go to the product menu. If you're following along, go to product menu, click on 48. That'll give you all the images up to the most current. And we'll wait for that to load. So, states in the path of this. We're looking at a few hours from now. We're going to have to be aware this large outbreak area is going to pass right up through Missouri and go into eastern Iowa, it looks like, also maybe possibly up into Wisconsin before we start to see some die out of that. Again, last night, as it got pressed north, those northern states got creamed up here with the hail and damaging winds. Now it's heading east by northeast. So that means we also need to watch these strong cells here that are currently developing into, well, what could be possible tornadoes as they pass across Illinois. You know how it goes. Pass across Illinois, we start to see a pickup in the wind, and you see a large tornado outbreak that occurs in the Midwest across Tornado Alley in Illinois, Indiana, and even sometimes where I live here in St. Louis, Missouri. So if you live in Chicago, you can see the wall that's headed towards you. Let's go in and look at 1 km, and we'll bring it right in on Illinois first. And again, there's the visible. And we'll wait for that to load. So we're moving really quick, and the intensity, we've got hail there again. The white centers indicate most likely some kind of ice particles detected, most likely hail. And it's heading just to the north suburbs of Chicago, maybe Milwaukee, just north of the border here. Would need to be prepared for that damaging wind and hail outbreak that's coming with that. Maybe even a few possible tornadoes. You know how it goes. Not every tornado is identified, and we have to rely on the National Weather Service and our forecasters to find those and report them. And again, now with next generation radar, you can see it. You can see the rotation. The computer identifies it for you. However, again, sometimes it's a false ID. Sometimes it sees it as a damaging wind when really there is a tornado on the ground. And again, damaging winds is 60 miles an hour and over. So we're talking about stuff that can blow your, maybe even blow shingles off your roof or remove siding off your house. Maybe knock things over. And again, if you've got windows open or if you've got pets outside, it could be really damaging. Knock branches off trees, even knock trees over at 60 miles an hour if the ground is saturated enough. So everything in yellow here, high winds. So you can see this is really starting to get unstable. Look at the time, too. We're looking at 6:25 p.m. Central Time. So this is right at sunset. It's been cooking hot here all day. We can turn on the temperatures. And I'm talking, it was a good 85 earlier. Now we're down to 69. And that's just in a few hours' time. So this blast that's coming in behind the storm, let me go ahead and back this out. Again, this is all lagging because there's so many people on here. Okay. And I'm running a live stream too. So this will give us our temperature readout, and this may be lagging for you guys as well trying to see this. But the temperature readout shows us that up north we're looking at about 30 to 40 degrees still. And again, we're going into May, so we're looking at 30 to 40 degrees behind the storm and 80 degrees out in front of the storm. Now, as I'm talking, it looks like we have a possible tornado detected far west over Utah, over Salt Lake City, Utah, inside of the snow warning area where they have a snow and winter weather advisory issued. Look at the temperatures here, guys. We're looking at 40 and 50 degree temperatures with snow and sleet, and now definitely a possible tornado detected. I'm going to go over to, let's see, we'll go over to the Weather Channel really quick. Are they crashed yet? While that's loading, we'll go over to College of DuPage. We're going to look at the regional products, and let's look at the continental U.S. And what we're going to do now is we're going to turn on the water vapor, and this is going to show us what's coming in from the Pacific Northwest. It looks to me like we have another large system right on the tail of this one, Oh, yeah. Okay. You can definitely see, and we'll wait for this full thing to load, but you can see something pushing in here behind another counterclockwise rotating low pressure system. However, this one pulled far to the south. And you can see it now swirling back up here to the north. Well, due north now. Let's just make sure of that. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, it's pulling exactly due north at the moment. That's pretty odd to see. It may even pull back around one time as it makes its passage north by northeast. We may see this actually pull back around and give another blast to the east coast by, well, what's the time now? 6:30? By midnight till 3, 4 in the morning at the latest, we might start to see some activity on the east coast now. If it makes one more flip back around, it'll take another gulp out of the Gulf of Mexico, if you will, and push it up the East Coast. Right now, we're experiencing the first gulp that it took as it came down through the south and dropped all that cold weather down here to Southern California and Arizona. So let's jump back over to the Weather Channel and let's go ahead and turn on their Titan storm tracking one more time, and then we'll finish this up. Oh boy. Okay. So it appears there are now several tornadoes detected. Let's just go ahead and wait for that to refresh. We have 2 throughout Arkansas now, one directly over Little Rock at a strength of 11 out of 15. And that's not Little Rock, I'm sorry. That is Fort Smith, just south of Fort Smith. Strength of 11 heading northeast, due northeast. And we've got another tornado, another strength of 11 heading east by northeast as well. That may be going across Little Rock. Let's go ahead and turn the opacity on this down. It's going to graze to the west of Little Rock and head right over Conway, Beebe, Greenbrier. Oh boy, okay. And then of course we still have our tornado. Now tornado detected. Strength of 15. Oh boy. Okay, there it is, guys. We've got a full detection of 15 out of 15. Now, this can go down to 8. Okay, 8 would be the lowest that we would see tornado. This is the Titan storm tracking computer detection of what's inside the storm. We can click on National Weather Service warnings, and it looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 now again for the area directly around Joplin. Look how this is lingering. This is lingering for a fairly long time. Again, I've been doing this for almost 20 minutes now. So we've been looking at a 20 to 30 minute tornado event, and this actually began good 10 or 15 minutes before I got on live here. Now, this is pretty disturbing. I'm sure there's going to be actually some major damage in the area. Joplin just recovered from the 2011 just crazy outbreak that occurred, and I mean, we're talking a lot of people got hurt here, guys. Now, I cannot stress this enough. If you live in this region, or if you live east by northeast of this, have a plan ready and be prepared just in case. Don't be scared. Be prepared. You know the drill. If you hear a siren, take cover. If you don't have a basement, then you need to get to an interior portion of your house and make as many layers between you and the outside, the tornado. That's the best you can do. You hopefully have some kind of underground shelter to take if you live in this region. If not, then make do with the best you can. Of course, you already know this, and the mainstream media has been trying to warn people now for a couple days. We still have the 2 tornado warnings over central Mississippi heading east by northeast. Now let's just go ahead and back this out a little bit. Okay. Yeah, it is now moved by another 15 miles or so heading towards Memphis. I'm going to turn on Titan Storm Track again. And we've got hail detected, so at least hail, and at most the National Weather Service has those tornado warnings issued for this. And look which direction it's heading. Let me zoom in again. Here's downtown Memphis. Here's the 2 cells. All right, now we're going to animate up the 2 cells and see exactly which way they're going. And again, we have to wait for this again. I'm sorry, guys. Their bandwidth, not mine. It's going to go directly over Germantown and Collierville. So you can follow this track, just if you can see my mouse, you can follow it to the east-northeast, and it's going to pass just outside of downtown. So we've got several areas where just outside of downtown are going to be hit. That would include Chicago. That would include Kansas City, which is getting really close now. Let's just back this out a little bit and wait for it. Okay, definitely going to be coming over the NEXRAD radar. NEXRAD radar right here. Okay, so that's going to be coming directly over the NEXRAD radar, passing east of Independence, right here in the far east suburbs of Kansas City. And you guys know what that means. All those nice houses, all those lake houses. We've got a big problem going on there. Also, Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, big spring break destination. Party Cove, not today. Definitely need to be taking cover from these storms if you're going to be out on the water on the lake. If you know anybody who's there, let them know. I've got a lot of viewers in Missouri, being that I'm from St. Louis. I'm going to have to deploy my webcam, which when I get done with this live stream, we'll deploy the webcam out on the side of my house facing southwest. So you can imagine I'm living right here, and I'm going to point my camera this direction. And, of course, we're not catching the mega storm here, but it looks like we're definitely going to be getting damaging winds and hail associated with these storms here. Oh, boy. I'll tell you what, guys. It's good to have the live stream going. Let's go ahead and see how many people are still in here. Oh, well, we got 200 people on the live stream right now. It works, okay? Getting the word out on YouTube actually works. That's good to know. When I finish this video will be posted. It will stand as a testament to being prepared, and being prepared in areas that might have been hit just a year ago. You might need to prepare again. And this is just the start of the season. This is the start of Tornado Week on the Weather Channel, no less. Go figure. Well, here we go, guys. Another instance of what I would call man-made induced storms. We saw it a day before the professionals did. A day before they issued any of their forecast, the Harper Ring outbreak occurred directly over these areas. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and jump over to my Facebook page really quick. And I'll show you guys the graphic, just in case there's any doubt that the areas were a perfect match overlay, or in case you're just tuning in and you don't believe in weather modification, that a day before the professionals issued any forecast, a viewer of mine actually, made note of an outbreak that was occurring and said, hey, what's going on here? Will you please go check it out? I jumped over to the feed. Lo and behold, there it is. One of the biggest Harper Ring outbreaks, radar pulse outbreaks, that I'd ever seen, that any of us had ever seen. Here's the tail end of it right here. Let me just go ahead and click in on this. Okay, this is the tail end of it. Now, that went on for approximately 12 hours, and here's where it began. Here's the event, and then they came out with this the next day. Here's the event. Here's their forecast 24 hours later. The areas match, and if you look, southwest Missouri is right here where my mouse is. So we've got a cluster going from, let's say, Tulsa. It's kind of hard to make out on here because of the 3D radar, but we've got a cluster point here. All these areas getting creamed now. Right now, as we speak, let's jump back over and take a look. Just compare the area. Just go between the two. There to there. Oh, here, let's take this up a little bit. There to there. We even got Nebraska in the mix, right? Okay. Right? Nebraska, right here, right at the center of the northwestmost ring. So each one of these areas is forecast to get creamed now. We beat them to the punch by 24 hours just by looking at radar pulses. No wind speed, no pressure charts, no temperatures, just literally looking at the ionization that's occurring from the radar station. Now, I'll shut up about that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 5 tornado warnings still. So we've got 2 down here, 2 just east of downtown Joplin now, which indicates that the tornado is moving to the east-northeast via Warren Boulevard, right up through Lake of the Ozarks. And also, strong cells, looks like they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning along with that tornado watch in Kansas City. So the area that we were just watching, now the National Weather Service has come in and issued that warning. Again, the difference between the warning and the watch is keep an eye out for it. Could happen, might go to your east, might go to your west. Keep a watch out. But the warning indicates that the storm is imminent. It's coming over you in just a few minutes. And it's that gray area in between where people need to prepare. So where they know something's coming, but they don't know if it's coming towards them, this one is issued directly over downtown Kansas City now. It looks like the storm track just took a little bit turn to the northwest now, and instead of going over Blue Springs out here in the suburbs, looks like it's going to be going directly over downtown. Again, that's a good reason to prepare because, in a moment's notice, you saw it, you saw the direction it was just going. Now it's making a pull to the northwest, National Weather Service issuing that warning. Down here to the south, looks like also it might be time for the National Weather Service to issue a warning for around the Memphis area. Still haven't done that. Let's just make sure of that. Let's hit refresh. And again, they're probably assigning these as they're crossing state lines. So that only gives you a few minutes to prepare. Imagine your grandma out on the road starting to get black to the west or southwest, and you turn on the radio and there's nothing but music. There's no warning or beep going on yet because the National Weather Service hasn't issued that warning. And that's a problem. That, to me, is something that they need to fix. Now, again, they're overloaded on bandwidth. You can see all these tornado watch areas here. I'm going to quickly jump over to the live weather feeds page, and we'll scroll down just a little bit here. Here we go. The unquality control feed. Ever since the National Weather Service caught wind that we were watching this, they turned on the Christmas light effect, so you can't make out what's actually happening on the feed. Really hard to see. It didn't used to do this. Once it's done loading, you'll see what I'm talking about here. Okay, you see this? Right? Now, let's just wait for it here. Oh, wait a second. Look what happens right at the first frame. They have a censored portion. This is non-answer, no answer. So they have a censored portion here coming out of what looks like eastern Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas to Kansas City. And they censored it out. What you would normally see there, for those of you who followed me for 2 to 3 years, it's in the perfect shape of what, guys? A giant, massive radar pulse. They just pulsed it. However, you can't see it here because it's literally been removed from the feed. Let's go over and check the NEXRAD sites. And we'll check eastern Kansas, where it looks like the pulse came from. It was either eastern Kansas or Kansas City. Wonderful. College of DuPage not loading now. Well, that's just great. Okay, you see how it goes, guys. You try to get on, and next thing you know, the feed is either cut or overloaded with people trying to watch it. Well, I'm glad we got it when we did. The non-quality control feed does not lie, and they clearly omitted that giant radar pulse that was just seen, if you just looked, right over Kansas. So let's just take one final gander at this and see what's going on. I'm going to hit stop after this. This will upload the video to YouTube. I'm glad we got to do the live stream and get the word out that we need to be prepared in Southwest Missouri. And that was for now almost 45 minutes of warnings. And as we keep warning, new areas keep getting subsequent updates here. So Memphis, still no warning issued. We've got tornado warnings just to the south and no warning issued for Memphis yet. What is up with that? That is crazy. So if you live in Memphis or know somebody who lives in Memphis, let them know. They need to watch out because it's coming their direction just east towards Germantown. If you live in Missouri, be prepared, guys. It's going to be a bad night. We're going into 7 p.m. It's going to go up through Illinois. Be prepared in northern Illinois. Of course, Chicago, Iowa, let's just go as far north as central Wisconsin, maybe even possibly as far north as Michigan over the rest of tonight. East Coast is going to have to be ready for this. Definitely have to be ready. The system is going to be pulling up from the southwest to the northeast, which means we need to watch Ohio, Indiana, anywhere downwind of this. and that's going to be throughout the night tonight. And it also includes, let's say, up here in South Canada, where you might not be seeing too many tornadoes. Normally, you're going to need to watch out tonight. Specifically, let's say Detroit, going up to Toronto, up here, look at the direction this whole storm system's going. If not to you, just to your north. We'll have to wait and see. I'll put links down below once this video is processing, guys. And have a severe weather plan and be ready just in case, okay? Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.